Hello everyone, I'm Tuco and welcome back to another episode of the Structure Showcase series. Today we will be taking a deeper look at the Dalish faction with all of its beautiful clay towers and whatnot that look amazing, especially along the Dalish countryside. Anyway, so the first structure that we will be looking at is the Dalish tower. Just a tower you find out in the middle of the woods, basically. And you can come in here, close the door, and find some really nice mead, some crafting benches, of course the Dalish crafting bench, a chest with some stuff in it, cram especially because they trade with the dwarves of the Iron Mountains, who love cram, and oh my goodness, cram is a wonderful food. It actually restores the same amount as steak does, so it's really nice. And then of course some straw beds because they're kind of poor. Not too poor, but on the slower side of things. Anyway, up here you'll find the Dalish soldiers and levyman up here defending their tower and defending their homes from the Gunbag orcs from the north into the west, and all of that wonderful stuff near the dwarves. And also their thing right here, their banner. It is an amazing, it's like a crossbow, I think, or a bow with like a massive spike going up, or a massive arrow shooting towards the sky. It's wonderful. It looks amazing. I love the blue. The bright colors always amaze me on the Dalish towns and the Dalish structures. Now here we have the fortress of the Dales, and honestly I really like this kind of fortress because most of the fortress walls that you find are just flat. Like you'll find Rohirrim, you'll find Gondorians, and the walls they'll just be flat. It's weird, it'll just be flat. But no, the Dalish, they like architecture, so they make these nice arches, these little things right here. I mean, they aren't very good for fighting because your enemies can just hide right here and break through the wall and whatnot. But they're very nice, very beautiful to look at. Love the walls, amazing. And they even have their own bricks. Like look at this Dalish brick. It's amazing. And then you can come in here, open the door, close it, and you're inside the fortress. Now the fortress itself is quite small. It's actually very small indeed. You have some soldiers in here guarding it, like a little tower post, which is nice. And then of course the captain, the Dalish captain. They have their drinks going on here, and of course their food and crafting benches and whatnot. Some nice stuff in there, even like a hardy Dalish sword. It's very nice. And then of course their beds, their bunk beds for all of them sleeping. And guess what? You have like half of them sleep and then half of them guard, something like that. Anyway, you can come over here to these ladders. You can climb all the way up here. And up here you have a very nice view of the surrounding areas. You can fire arrows into the sunset and all kinds of stuff like that. Very good defensively, except for, of course, this little thing, these little inlets here where enemies can hide. But I do like it visually. It does look very appealing. Now next we have the Dalish house. Now this house, it's a 2-story house. It's very nice looking, very fancy. I love the fence posts on the outside. Adds a lot more detail than most houses usually get. And also these walls along the outside, very nice trim, of course, with the Dalish brick going around. Some nice architecture going on here with the bricks there. And then of course the clay looks absolutely amazing. Their little fire pit up there. I don't know why they have a fire up there. That's kind of odd. You think you'd have it lower, but oh well. I mean, I don't know if that'd heat very well. But anyway, down here you can always find hay bales. I don't know why you can always find hay bales, but they always spawn there. And of course, I really like these arches. I make a lot of them in my builds. I use the arches, and of course the walls with these arches. Oh my gosh, they look amazing. Anyway, you can come in here, find a spiral staircase that'll go all the way up to the living quarters. Of course, this fence post here so that you don't fall off. Some nice windows. They really don't like to use glass for the windows, so you often use a lot of these fence posts for them. which is nice. It adds a very nice touch. I really like it. Of course, up here you have your nice little sink with some water in it. And then, of course, you have your crafting benches, something to eat. Of course, filled to the brim with some nice, very nice food, actually, and some leather. That's great. And then, of course, a bed with a clock to tell them when to get up and all that. And it's a really nice house. Really good for the Dalish faction, just because it looks rustic, but yet civilized, you know. It's not quite like the Rudar, where it's just like roughing it, you know, really, yeah, rough buildings. But I mean, it's plain, but it's nice. It's well built. Anyway, so moving on, we have the smithery, or the smith, the Dalish smith. Of course, with this nice trim going around, I really enjoy that. The extra bit of detail goes a long way. Of course, this nice clay tile ceiling, oh, it looks amazing. Of course, the overhang. You always need a good overhang for a building. And then the bronze for the windows looks absolutely amazing. Anyway, so we come in here, and I know last time I said that the elven ones were some of my favorite smiths or smitheries, but this one is a very nice laid out one. You have the pillars coming up here. They absolutely look amazing, the detail on them. And of course the forge right in the middle of the place with some forges here and some crafting benches. It looks absolutely amazing. Anyway, you come up here and you find the living quarters of the smith. Some nice beds here. I love the beams coming across here. Nice extra bit of detail on the interior for some extra support. And of course, benches. Chests full of Dalish recipes and all assortment of very nice stuff. Oh, that's kind of weak, as said by the name. And yeah, this is a really nice build. Again, I really like the tone of the Dalish bricks. Now that's off a little bit, as you can see there. That's gonna bug someone, I'm sure. I mean, look at that. That is off. They need to fix that. But anyway, on to the final, or not the final one, the second to final build, which is the Dalish, I forget, it's the Dalish something tower. I believe it's called the Dalish fortress tower or something like that. Not fortress, town tower. That's what it is, town tower. Again, with the trim, absolutely amazing detail. Love the arches here. The tiling, absolutely amazing. Although the fire, I'm not quite sure if that's the best place to put it. But if you're using it as beacon, very nice use. Again, the beautiful and colorful, very colorful. And look at that. You even have like some darker areas, some lighter areas. It's not just plain blue, which is some really nice detail added onto the banners, which I really enjoy. These are nice banners. And then coming up here, there isn't much here. I mean, I guess you could make like a little house right here if you wanted to, add a ladder coming up. And then some iron bars as the windows, and then some torches to light the way. And now on to the last and final build of the Dalish faction, which is the Dalish bakery. Oh yes, Ivor's Confections. Ooh, that sounds wonderful. Anyway, so this one, that's a beautiful red, by the way. That is a absolutely beautiful clay tiling roof, which, I mean, it just looks amazing. And then, of course, the wool coming across here tell you that it is like a shop of sorts, and you can come on in here. Floor is cobblestone, which I like cobblestone, honestly. A lot of people think it looks ugly. Me, I kind of like it. It's a nice texture. Anyway, you have all these sorts of Dalish pastries and cakes and pies, and oh my goodness, you're drowning in all kinds of beautiful and delicious pies and cakes and pastries and all kinds of assortment. Anyway, so here we have the baker, which you can trade to get all kinds of different pastries and baked goods, and you can exchange different things for him in order to get money as well. And then, of course, crafting benches, a nice area to wash your hands before you start the cooking. And then, of course, you have to have a clock to know what time it is. You always do. Look at that. Look at that clock work properly. The sun's just beginning to rise because I made it. Anyway, you have the furnaces here that they use to cook. Absolutely love this brick going around here like that. Looks beautiful. And then, of course, this is here so that customers can't just jump over and get into all the delicious baked goods of the shopkeeper. However, something to note about this build, or about this about the structure, is that it actually does not come with a Dalish crafting bench, which is odd. You'd think that it would if you're making these Dalish pastries, so they're so good. But it doesn't. It's really odd. I find that odd that you wouldn't find one here of all places where they're making Dalish pastries, that you find one. But no, you just find them in those few structures over there. Now, a lot of the time you'll find the Dalish buildings and structures all clumped together. Usually you'll find like maybe one of these, like 3 of these, one of those, and a few towers all cluster together, make like a little town. That's always cool to see. And then the fortresses, usually you just find them on their own, just like out in the middle of nowhere. And then that you usually find out in the middle of nowhere too. You're gonna find all these, just out there in the wild by itself. But most of the time they're together in a large conglomeration of Dalish citizens, and all living quite happily, though of course under the threat of the Gundabad orcs. But with the help of the dwarves, they're doing just fine. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Structure Showcase series. I know it was a bit of a short one, but the Dales don't really have too many structures in their faction, 6, but they are a very nice faction. So you can really get some nice things from them. Usually some dwarvish things, and then of course their own things as well, because they trade a lot with the dwarves. And their structures, they can be really interesting. And if you really like to build with like clay and in this kind of style, the Dales are a perfect faction to get started with. You can probably expand this out and add some town around it, some buildings, and make it look really nice. So anyway, guys, God bless, and I'll see you next time.